Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Why this is?
For reading something for people to see you properly.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Hotspot lah. Hotspot lah.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Nothing is coming. Jai Jai Ram Om.
MUKTANANDA. But it is not coming. See? Type, it's not coming.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Not coming. Current is coming, no, go back to you.
You can use a first one.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
No internet.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Oh. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Pranam Swamiji. Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam. Hope everybody has done the homework. No response. There is no response means they have done well. So on the 11th of this month, when he prompted a devotee to ask how to become one with him, that was the instrumental cause for our dwelling on various aspects. So we will like to go through that because this is the culmination of all our spiritual efforts, spiritual sadhana, spiritual journey. Rest of the things are all subsidiary. We should know that to get an answer for this, not at the intellectual level, but at the experiential level, is the final goal to be achieved by every sadhaka or devotee. So this is a fundamental question. Not that we are not aware. So again we will try, So on Saturday, also we dwelt upon it. But now again we will go through in a comprehensive way. How to become one with him is the natural yearning or cry of every serious devotee. Even to aspire on these lines, we need his grace. That we have so far understood. Everything happens only by his grace. Following the school of philosophy, opened up before us by beloved Papa, so many things we all have heard, we all have done little bit of manana. Probably we would have been blessed with some fleeting experiences also. So even to aspire on these lines, that means to get even this question in our mind, it is because of his grace. So devotees have to realize that through this prompting, this question, God is preparing the bhakta to connect himself or herself totally with him. Let us not think that it is a question answer session, no? Outwardly it may look like a question answer session, but deep within us it is he who prompted us. And he prompted us because he knew that some sufficient homework has been done. Something has been, some requisite has been fulfilled, either through our intense chanting of Ramnam or now and then dwelling on the various words of wisdom of beloved Papa, or by going through the biographical sketch of Pujya Papa and Mataji. All of us would have definitely are convinced rather that we are being guided by him. Whether we know it or not, whether we recognize it or not, the truth is that he is guiding us. So that is why this question has come up now. And we have been watching ourselves. He is not leaving us. He wants us to dwell on it more and more. And try to know the path he has placed before us, and then how to intensify it. What else to be added? Nothing is new to us. So as a first step, we try to know what him stands for. When we say, I want to become one with him, him stands for. And who wants to become one with him? So the question itself, when he puts the question in our mind, indirectly he places before us the two important characters in this exploration. One is what the him stands for. Him stands for the Almighty Lord of the universe. Of course, it is clear that the individual aspires to become one with the spirit within. Because as Papa's children, spiritual children, umpty number of times he has hammered that it is the subtle and mysterious power that is behind everything. We have understood intellectually. Who has understood? The individual. So, who to become what? So, me, the sense of individuality, the person, wants to become one with him. Him, the subtle and mysterious power, who is propelling, activating, vitalizing everything in me and therefore in others. So the question now has unfolded before us. The sadhaka must have tried so many ways to get an answer to this fundamental question. When as soon as we started associating with Papa's thoughts or started coming to ashram, the first one was to develop a liking for the holy and all-powerful Ramnam. And through simple words, Papa has told us that that is the ultimate panacea. Because he in his own words, he said, he wants nothing else excepting Nama. He did not even say about Nami, because at the time of initiation, we used to play a tape. There he specifically mentions he wants to enjoy that sweetness of Ramnam. It is not only a means, it is an end by itself. And again he says, when you drink the nectar of Nama, ultimately the drinker and the drink become one. So all these words we have heard many, many times in our days in ashram. So we have tried. It is true. Because Ramanam is the mainstay of our sadhana. We would not have concentrated more on any other aspect. But still we feel the question remains unanswered. The sadhaka must have tried so many ways to get an answer to this fundamental question, but still he or she feels that it remains unanswered in spite of the fact that the sadhana done so far has given some fleeting experience of him in different ways. We cannot explain that. A pleasant feeling must have welled up. The other day one devotee was telling, as soon as he started chanting, tears are coming. Tears of not any stressful tears. Tears out of joy, out of, we cannot explain the why and whereof. Some people, when they chant, there is a pause. They become aware of the pause. And that gives them something, chillness. So like that, sadhaka must have tried so many ways to get an answer to this fundamental question, but still he or she feels that it remains unanswered. In spite of the fact that the sadhana done so far must have given some fleeting experience of him in different ways, not in a particular way. These promptings direct the sadhaka to intensify his efforts. So again when the question comes up, we are again prompted how to trigger, how to speed up, how to hasten. Through either vichara marga or bhakti marga or the combination of both. Because Papa places before us both. In fact, Papa's attainment is that there is a harmonious combination of bhakti and vichara. Because vichara alone, it leads to dryness. Bhakti alone, it stays at the emotional level. So it's a harmonious combination. When we prepare a dish, there are certain proportions with which the ingredients are put, Then only it becomes palatable, tasty. So similarly here, neither too much nor too less. That is the path Papa chose. he defines what is bhakti, what is vichara marga. Bhakti denotes the elevation of heart towards the great reality through purified emotion or love. Purified emotion means what? It stands for absolute love. Not love to an object, love to a particular. Love absolute. So that means free from all possessiveness, attachments, everything. Okay. And then what remains is that. At the moment we have defined our love to certain, we give our love to certain specified individuals and become possessive of the things which we at the moment own. Start thinking now. So here bhakti, according to Papa, denotes the elevation of the heart towards the great reality through purified emotions or love. This can't be explained further because it is the field of feelings. Feelings can never be put in words. It comes, that's all. Spontaneously it wells up in our heart. Provided His grace and a conducive atmosphere. Let us see later how it can be developed. And jnana is the awakening of the intellect to the consciousness of the indwelling truth through discrimination and dissociation. So these are the two paths, Either we have been given the freedom to choose any or a combination of both. The knowledge of the Atman liberates the bound soul from the vicious circle of births and deaths and grants him unchanging and eternal bliss and peace. It is then the higher bhakti, which is termed of parabhakti, dawns on him. This is the summit of God realization. How he combines, he gives us a clue. The knowledge of the Atman, that is the Vichara Marga, liberates the bound soul from the vicious circle of births and deaths and grants him unchanging eternal bliss and peace. So Vichara Marga is valid. Then, it is then that the higher bhakti, which is termed as parabhakti, dawns on him. Previously he has taught us, which we have understood academically, intellectually, the whole spiritual path. Some of you might be remembering. Bhakti is the root, Vairagya is the trunk, Jnana is the flower, Parabhakti is the fruit. So bhakti means that emotion love, Me, Bhakta and Bhagavan, that relationship called devotion. That is the starting point. For that Vairagya, we have to reseed ourselves from the outer to the inner, which we call it as Vairagya. And then supported, what it results? Jnana. And then jnana upgrades himself, graduates itself to parabhakti, seeing him in everywhere. So that is the same thing in a different way. The knowledge of the Atman liberates the bound soul from the vicious circle of births and deaths and grants him unchanging eternal bliss and peace. It is then the higher bhakti, which is termed parabhakti, dawns on him. This is the summit of God realization. So to get a final answer for how to become one with him, he has put it in a capsule form. Both we have to sail together, the Vichara Marga and the Bhakti Marga. And then ultimately we will be blessed with the Parabhakti state, that is seeing the Bhagavan in everybody by the Bhakta. The individuality still remains, but at the same time, it transforms itself into a state where Bhagavan is the awareness that Bhagavan is there behind everything, including the Bhakta. That state, Papa says, we will reach. And that is, then there is no question of to become one with him. Because we have become one with him then. So with jnana as the background, the devotee beholds the entire manifested universe as the supreme image of his beloved Lord. All creatures, beings and things in the universe are looked upon by him as the very forms of his Lord. He feels and sees the Lord's presence everywhere. His sense of duality has completely vanished. Now, so with all that we try to, he has already given to us something about devotion, bhakti. That is why in the ashram routine, along with Ramnam, Mataji has included to touch and kindle this bhakti aspect by way of Vishnu Sahasranam, by way of chorus Ramnam, flower offering, bhajan, arati. Just think. As soon as we step into this ashram, that is the fundamental first thing that we see here. Not any big lectures, not any course of training, not any textual philosophy is first told. So first base is that Bhagavan and Bhakta, and Nama is the link between us and him. Then when we start attending, there is a prayer, the universal prayer. There also as a Bhakta pleads before the Lord. So like that, no, that is fostered, that is fanned. First step. Then there are about 5 or 6 books directly written by Papa. In Quest of God, At the Feet of God, In the Vision of God, World is God, Gita Sandesh. And then devotees were prompted to pathless path. The devotees were prompted to take down the words of wisdom he shared through many. One is Gospel, the other is God Experience 1 and 2, and the other one is 5 volumes of Ramdas, lectures of Swami Ramdas he delivered during his global tour. Like that, so many. In all that you will find, and books like Divine Life, collection of all his articles, letters to Ramdas, in all these you will find emphasis is also equally given to the Vichara Marga. So that is for the second step. We are looking back to our own. As soon as we came here, nobody asked us to look into any books. It gets kindled. Casually we go to the publication. And then when we take 1 or 2, we go back to the room, read and then get interested. So the first one is to develop this devotion as the base, and then slowly when we start enjoying it, Nama we enjoy, the thrilling sessions of Ramnam. On those days, there was no morning to evening, the 11:30 to 12:15, evening 7:30 to 8:15. 7:30 to 8:30 to 9:15. That 45 minutes was precious for us. Everybody will be closing their eyes and joy in the brain, thrilling. And though the Arati are mostly or totally in a different language unknown to us, that's Marathi, still we were all enjoying it. The tune and the way in which it is sung and the Arati, so all those things were touching and kindling the devotional aspect in us. Then slowly, we try to go to the wisdom teaching. Then only we come to know that he has touched upon the basic Advaitic philosophy. As we go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, he has elaborately touched upon the Vichara Marga. So that comes. Then the effort should be on our part. We have to do it by ourselves. So Nama chanting as the base, the devotion as the tool, and then with the devotion we approach the Vichara Marga. With the devotion. So that it never becomes a dry subject. Because every now and then when we go to Papa's teachings, we find the first thing he makes us to understand is, he is not using the first person. So Ram and Ramdas, in spite of the fact that Ramdas has scaled the heights and become one with Ram, he always maintains Ram and Ramdas. It is a puzzle for us initially. We have never heard like that. But he places before it, by that particular approach, he places before us that never it is on one. It is a combination of two. To understand Ram, we need knowledge. To enjoy the presence of Ram, we need devotion. To understand Ram, we need path of knowledge. Then suddenly, he drives to the inquest of God and he mentions subtle and mysterious power. And in that one article, he has put the entire Jnana Marga in a capsule form. Entire. And then, at the same time, we don't get stuck with that dry method. Every now and then, even in that particular article itself, he brings that. It was about 2 years ago that Ram first kindled in the heart of the humble slave Ramdas. No, first. Ram kindled. Bhagavan kindled Bhakta. A keen desire to realize his infinite love. To strive to approach, to understand Ram is to recede from the world of vanishing forms. Vairagya. Because Ram is the only truth. The other one are vanishing forms. The only reality. Because Ram is the only truth. The only reality. Ram is a subtle and mysterious power that pervades and sustains the whole universe. Now slowly he takes us to the path of Ram. Birthless and deathless is he. Whatever we have understood, whatever we have seen, has got a date of birth, date of death. So suddenly he brings out this birthless and deathless. For anything there is a beginning for us, including us. And there is an end. But here he slowly introduces a very profound expression. Birthless and deathless is he. Unless we try to go within, how can we understand? He is present in all things and in all creatures who only appear as separate entities. Because we at the moment, even if we have gone through, we still feel we are separated, na? In spite of doing for decades together, still the status quo is maintained. So here he says, He is present in all things, in all creatures, who only appear as separate entities due to their ever-changing forms. To wake up from this illusion, Jnanamarga, no? To wake up from this illusion of forms is to realize at once the unity or love of Ram. Love of Ram means love of all beings, love of all creatures, love of all beings in this world. To realize this great truth, we who through ignorance feel as separate individuals should submit ourselves to the will and working of the infinite power, infinite love Ram, who is the one and all pervading. By a complete surrender to the will of Ram, we lose consciousness of the body in sense of individuality, which keeps us aloof from him. A subtle way of presenting the path of knowledge. A subtle way, I am that, but I am not aware. By a complete surrender to the will of Ram, we lose consciousness of the body, which keeps us aloof from him, and find ourselves in a state of complete identification and union with Ram, who is in us, everywhere around us. In this condition, hatred, which means consciousness of diversity, ceases, and love, consciousness of unity, is realized. This divine love can be attained by humbling ourselves to such a degree as to totally subdue our egoism, our self-assertion as a separate individual existence. Having reached this stage, we, by the awakened consciousness of unity or love, are naturally prompted to sacrifice all the interests that concern the body for the welfare of our fellow men and fellow creatures, who are all manifestations of the same Ram. So in the first article he tries to introduce this path of knowledge, path of bhakti, and a combination. Because the path of knowledge is the realization that I, the subtle and mysterious power, am one, indivisible, eternal truth. And that I am seated in the hearts of all beings, that I am the sole doer. This jnana makes us realize that diversity is only apparent. All these varied forms, which are inconstant, transient, and perishable, are only the manifestation of one everlasting reality. Whereas in the path of bhakti, there is a sweet relationship between the Bhakta and the Bhagavan. Beloved Papa deeply cherished his relationship with this power, whom he addressed as Ram. He thus explained, Ramdas is like the river Ganges, which, having reached the ocean, still flows towards it. Well, this is something, beyond our thoughts. When the river has reached the ocean, it loses its identity. So here he says, Ramdas is like the river Ganges, which, having reached the ocean, still flows towards it. There is a spiritual experience in which the devotee, having become one with the divine, still remains separate from him as his servant or child, and loves and serves him and plays with him as a child with its mother. This is how the combination takes place. Of these two paths, the path of devotion is relatively easy because it makes the aspirant feel that the reality is nearer than the nearest. Because through dualism, non-dual is it is past thought. We are all within the realms of the thought only. So here, that is why it is called easy. Bhakti and Bhakta and Bhagavan, that means a relationship, dualism is there. That is why even after reaching that, he wanted to maintain and enjoy it. Otherwise, who will enjoy it? So, and in this connection, there is a beautiful sloka of, so let us try now the path of devotion. Then we will come to the path of knowledge and then the combination. Day for yesterday we were talking about when we go to the source of all sources, that is one method placed before us by Papa himself, because he said, first you try to go to the origin of your and the world life and try to know who you are in reality. For this you have to go through a systematized thought and discipline by which you transcend the limitations set by the body, mind, intellect and enjoy your original nature. This is nothing but path of knowledge. Absolute. So we will come to that later. It may be, we suddenly felt, at the end of the session, it might be a little heavy. So first we will now do some oiling of our mind by knowing more and more about the devotional aspect, so that it can absorb, it can stand, it can go through the path of knowledge. So here comes to our rescue one stanza from Bhagavad Gita. It is the 55th last sloka of the 11th chapter. Wonderful. Mat karma mat paramo mat bhaktaha sangavarjita nirvaira sarvabhudeshu ya sa mameti pandava. One who does work for me alone and has me for his or her goal, is devoted to me, is free from sensory attachment and bears no enmity towards any being, he or she attains to me, O Pandava. Becoming one with, A very simple slogan. Mat karma gridi, a doer of actions for me. Whatever actions you do it as an offering for me. You are working in an office, treat that as serving the Lord. Working in the household, you are serving the Lord. It's a fact. If the whole universe is his form, any work that one does is service to him. Morning we were sharing with our friends. Everything reminds us of his connection with, through that particular object. When we are sitting before the tablet or the mic or laptop or the various things that are kept on this table, suddenly we also realize equally, apart from its existence, apart from utility, apart from the relevance, its contribution, we also subtly feel how he prompted, that subtle and mysterious power, prompted one of his creation, human creation, to discover, invent, innovate all these things. As we said, there are three important causes for something to be produced. Material cause, the intelligent cause, instrumental cause. So the first matter, where from it has come, we have no idea. It's from him only, The Panchabhutas came, where from? Only from him. All other matter, because we don't know its date of birth, yeah. If we know the date of birth, we can find out. So the material, when you say material cause, matter has come from him. Instrumental cause, whatever tool is necessary to bring out this, that instrument is also given by him. And then the intelligent cause, as you keep on trying to, he fires you with an idea, and in order to translate or translate that ideal or idea into reality, he supplies through intelligence. So when all these put together, material cause, instrumental cause, and the efficient cause, it becomes a product. So behind everything, we find the touch of God, the hand of God, the finger of God. So he says, you are working in an office, treat that as serving the Lord. Working in the household, you are serving the Lord. If the whole universe is his form, any work that anyone does is service to him. Mat paramo. Keep me as the supreme goal. Everything else is secondary. God is the primary goal. That is why those who keep God as the supreme goal don't go to ecstasy when they get a little remark of appreciation, a little title, a little promotion. These are nothing. The greatest thing is this bhakti. Mad bhaktaha. Be my devotee. The only relation between you and me is pure love. Me means, capital Me. Purest form of love. And love is what? Absence of otherness. Not that an individual's love towards another individual. That is not the love. When God is, when we say prema swarupa, when we say prema swarupa, that means he is full of love, means there is no otherness inside. That is why he is equal to anybody who approaches him. And then, the greatest thing is bhakti, mad bhaktaha. The only relation between you and me is pure love. Sangha varjita. Free from any sensory attachment. Because the moment the attachment comes, a portion of me is fixed there, becomes finite. I localize. This is mine. No? Rest of the things are not mine. That is why I say this is mine. Even in the very negation, you find this. When you say, even in the assertion, you find this negation. When you say this is mine, automatically, why should you say that? Because rest of the things are not mine. So, Sangha Varjita. And then, free the mind from various attachments. Attachments will go, but love will remain. You may be detached from your friend, but you will be loving your friend. Detached from the wife, but will love and serve the wife. That distinction we must know. Detachment does not mean becoming apathetic to things world around you. That is not the meaning of detachment. I don't care. Children are weeping. I don't care. I have no attachment. That is not that detachment. Love is there, but no attachment is there. My child and that child, my child and another child, both are the same. I am going to look after that child also if necessary. So it is an expansion, not a contraction. So without any attachment, but with only pure love, then comes an important teaching of jnana and bhakti, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. With no hatred towards any being, there is no difficulty about it. Why should I hate? There is the same self in all beings. A little thing will give us that conviction. And he or she who is such a person attains to me, O Arjuna. This is Krishna's promise and is also the essence of all the teachings of the Gita. So 4 points here, no? Whatever you do, you are dedicating, to me, if we do that. How to become one with him? Through the Bhakti Marga. Whatever we do is an offering to him. Whether at home or in the office or with friends. And then always always think about him only. Then only we will be able to maintain this. Dedication to him means I must always be thinking about him. the great provider. And always feeling, the humbleness there. I am your bhakta. You have been gracious enough to shower all these things on me. There the path of knowledge will help. Right from the seed level up to this level, you have been providing everything to me, You become humble. And then, because my entire attention is towards you, I don't get attached to anything outside. Though I keep loving everything, I don't get attached. And then, therefore, I don't get attached, and therefore I don't develop any ill will towards anybody, because everybody is your form. So developing no ill will towards anybody, freeing ourselves from any possessiveness, developing, expanding our love circle, and bringing the God dimension, dedicating every action of mine to God. By this process, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna affirms or promises that I will become one with Him. In one more sloka, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dradavrada Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Glorifying me always, striving with firm resolve, bowing down to me in devotion, always steadfast, they worship me. The Nitya Yuktas, those who are always yogis, not those half an hour yogi, but all through they are yogis. Suddenly we look at ourselves. When we go to temple, we go to ashram, when we go to see any holy place, the devotion wells up. That is half an hour yogi, And immediately after we come out, we come back from the temple, nothing happens to our me and mind. So they are not Nitya Yuktas. So the first message is, as Puja Swamiji used to say, if we are sadhakas, we are 24 hours sadhakas. Not that when I chant Ramnam, when I do bhajan, when I go through the shastras, I become sadhaka and rest of the time I am an individual. No. A sadhaka is a sadhaka for 24 hours. Then how do such people worship me? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Constantly singing my glories, singing mentally or orally my divine glory, striving with steady practice. Here the glorifying, we would add one more word, glorifying what all He has made ready for me, What all I am blessed with by His unbounded grace. One by one He started providing me, Right from the seed level He has been guiding me. All these sense organs, all organs, and then the Panchabhutas, then the Mother Nature, everything, and then creature comforts one by one. So this is glorifying, not merely the other one, Your hand is like this, your face is like this, your lips are like this, your pada is like this. That is also glorifying Him. But we have found from our own experience that makes us to get localized in His form. But glorifying Him, His vibhuti, by which He has taken me as His child and looks after me. What all He has made, physical law, spiritual law, so and He adds one more word here, Dhrida. The mind constantly oriented to the divine, not vacillating, firm, with firm resolve, fixed resolve. And then saluting me with great devotion. There may not be actual physical salutation, but the mind is in the mood of salutation all the time. That is why during the non-chanting time, when Papa said your outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration, in order to know it in our level, then he gives us this clarity, a touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of dedication, touch of gratitude. This is saluting. A touch of love. You have given me this. Because your love for me, your concern for me. And then whatever I do, I must also reciprocate the same way. You have given. You have given this object. You have brought this object into for my welfare. So I handle it with love. I handle it with perfection. Because it's a dedication to him, mat karma kardu. And then I handle it with a touch of gratitude. So there may not be actual physical salutation, but the mind is in the mood of salutation at that. There is that point of humility, born of the understanding that the divine is manifest in our beings. There is no pride. There is no small ego. So that constant salutation. Not necessarily physical, but always mental. Bhaktya, through great devotion. Nitya Yukta Upasade. That is how the Nitya Yuktas worship me. Constant and spontaneous worship, adoration and prostration going on. They may or may not do it physically, but inwardly they are always in that mood. Seeing the same Atman everywhere. So what happens to that person? This state makes a person constantly salute to the divine everywhere, always feeling oneness with all. No? How to become one with him. So that is also answered in this stanza. What one practices with effort, practices like, self-control, control of the senses, all such practices become natural in this state. Initially when we hear that, we have to impose this, there are do's and don'ts, and all those things punctures the joy in it. But when it becomes natural, when I shift my priority to the deliverer, the facilitator, to the great provider, I naturally, my life does not go here and there. That means the self-control, running after the sense pleasures, automatically, spontaneously happens. Not with an effort. That's why he says, practices like self-control, control sense, all such practices become natural in that state. The whole thing comes to him or her in a natural, spontaneous way. There is a beautiful verse toward the end of the Mandukya Upanishad. A person of spiritual realization is naturally pure, naturally humble, naturally concerned with others, because he or she feels oneness with all. That concept and value of spontaneity and naturalness is expressed there. Where do you find that spontaneity in that world? You find it in children. They are spontaneous. This is the first type of spontaneity. That is why men of realization are compared to little children. Childlike, not childish. No? There is no cleverness in them. Absolutely spontaneous, natural. When they say yes, it means yes. When they say no, it means no. It is childlike spontaneity. That is the very great state of mind. Sri Ramakrishna said, Paramahamsas are like children of 5 years of age. They are so natural, so spontaneous, there is no ego in them. That is the nature of the highest realization. So when we were discussing yesterday this particular sloka, we remembered one incident. What is this, how to become one with him in the natural way? What is this childlike innocence? Sometime during 2006, at that time we had set up this VSET, value-based education. And then one of the items in the value-based education was to identify the value beacons, who has translated this value in everyday life, and to bring them before the students and then explain to them, and we will put it in such a way that he doesn't get embarrassed. We are not praising him or doing anything, but we are only just narrating it. In most cases, we request the value beacons themselves to express. So one such function was organized in Wayanad, where the BSET was functioning. I will tell you the background behind. One person by name Pappan, who was assisting Swamiji in correspondence in mid-70s, 80s, till me. After that, he applied for the government job and he got a job. He was working in the education department. But he still continues to maintain the contact with ashram. Even after Puja Swamiji's Samadhi, he used to come regularly. Even now he comes. So one day he came and told, see, the way in which Papa has blessed is something superb. It is all because, he made us to associate with Anandashram. I said, what happened? My brother's son, who was hardly then 9 or 10 years old, 11 years old, he got a President's Bravery Award. Then we asked him, what for that award? So this boy he had gone to the market to buy something for parent, mother would have asked her, and there was a railway gate. So, everybody, youngsters, they have a tendency to enter into the gate. There will be some small gap. And then he looked, he saw the train was coming. So he stopped this side. Suddenly he saw an old man coming with a bag or a basket on his head in the rails, between the rails. And the rail was coming. So this boy started shouting. The elderly person could not hear. The train was coming. Suddenly this boy jumped into the rail, pushed him out of the rail, and ensured that he doesn't fall. The train passed. The gateman was observing this. So after this, he asked the name of the boy, where he studies, all details he collected. Silently he passed on to the station master. What a great tragedy would have happened. And then how this boy did it. He went back. So station master did not leave it like that. He reported to the higher authorities and also the collector, district collector. Collector immediately took it up with all seriousness through various. Ultimately it reached the central cabinet, and then the list of the bravery award, this boy was declared bravery award for this child. It is a news team. So when he went there to receive and came back, we came. That's why he said, my association with ashram. In a subtle way, it has influenced the me to be expansion. So we decided to honor him. So we requested the whole family to come to Wayanad. We were all there. A great Gandhian by name, now he is no more, Gopinathan Nair. He was requested to come there. There was a good gathering. And then somebody explained about this, his father or Papan explained. And then he was also given some. This boy was sitting next to me, like this. I told him, you now go to the mic and tell what happened at that particular time. Like that. No, you must go and stand. Finally, I pushed him and he took the mic. That uncle was coming, in Malayalam he said. Then the train was reaching. So there was no other go. Somehow he was saved. He sat. That's all. Not a tinge of ego. So when Lord Krishna says, that is childlike spontaneity. It's a very great state of mind. They are so natural, so spontaneous, there is no ego in them. That is the nature of the highest realization. So God is within all of us. Given an opportunity, it comes out. The aperture gets opened, it comes out. Result is, somebody gets benefited. And as he grows, our wisdom, so-called, what do you call it? The feelings become less and less, knowledge becomes more and more. The human consideration becomes less and less, and we become knowledgeable, literates, that's all. We can't say that we have understood the wisdom. Unknowingly it happens, not knowingly. Nobody wants to be, but unknowingly. So unless there is a spiritual backing, which are called values, values are nothing but spiritual values. So unless there is a spiritual value, this is likely to get corroded, eroded, and then with the result that we become constrained to ourselves. Me to me, me to me, me to me. So this is so today we started with this me to, how to become one with him. So these through these two stanzas, the path of bhakti, through the path of bhakti, how to attain him, he is painting it out. But here itself you will find there are so many gaps which can be filled in only through path of knowledge. That is why Papa combined that. We will take it up tomorrow. So when there is a combination of these two, it will not become heavy. What is heavy, we were trying to understand. The heaviness we feel when I immediately think, we used to see it in the aircraft or train, in the loft somebody would have put some bag or whatever, suitcase or something. At the time of getting down, the passenger may not be in a position to do it. You are sitting near. Normally, you will offer. Don't worry, I will take it. So then you see, normal course, it is a difficult thing for you. But you will rush up to help somebody. Suppose he is an elderly person. Suppose a lady. Suppose somebody is carrying. Then, you will immediately say, don't worry, I will do it. So what happens then? In the normal course, your intellectual thing, will I be able to hold it? How many kilos it will be there? Can I hold this? My back pain, will it aggravate? But spontaneity, then we suddenly, get he is omnipotent, he is within all of us. Sarva Shaktiman. That Shakti comes out for a trice and you are immediately taken and there is no question of thinking about it. So when we think about the heaviness of the effort, I have to do this, I have to do that, self-control, I have to do this, but then it's become heavy. But when we entrust that it is his, then suddenly the heaviness seems to be getting diluted. Let us all do some thinking. We may come out with something else, and tomorrow we will go to the path of knowledge. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Pranam, pranam. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Seri. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.